Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. Today is Tuesday, September 13th, 2016, and I will be going over my lineup strategy for Fanduel's main slate on the MLB for tournaments and GPPs. To be honest with you, I haven't really played baseball in a good maybe 5 or 6 days because of all the football going on this weekend since Thursday. I just really haven't played the baseball, so I'm kind of out of the loop in what players been doing well and like what hitters been hot and what teams have been doing good and everything. I'm out of the loop with that. But I'm off from my main job today. I have to work at the Braves game, so I'm gonna give it my best shot. Today is a new day, a new opportunity to be great, and a new opportunity to try to be the best. And I'm confident that I can put together something pretty good and hopefully win some money on tonight. So again, I hope everyone did well on the NFL for Week 1. I personally struggled, but I'll talk about that in my NFL video later this week. But again, for this video, I'm just going to talk about the baseball for tonight. So with that being said, I'm going to get started with the slate. Starting off at the most important position, this is going to be for FanDuel. The most important position, pitcher. And for tournaments and GPPs tonight, my favorite pitcher for right now is Dan Straley of the Cincinnati Reds for 7,000, playing at home versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, picking Straley was mainly a salary decision. I wanted to kind of spin down on pitcher because I feel that there's a lot of offense available tonight on tonight's slate. And in order to get those bats, I didn't want to spend top dollar for pitcher. And if you look at the top pitchers, you got Syndergaard at 10,900. You got Duffy, and you have Pomeranz at 9,100. I just really feel that the right strategy to use tonight is to pay down for pitcher. And Straley is my favorite pitcher. My second favorite pitcher for tournaments and GPPs is Matt Whistler for my team, the Atlanta Braves, going up against the Marlins. Now, I'll give my reasons for why I like Dan Straley. Okay, for one, if you look at his game log, his last 3 home games at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. September 3rd, 41 fantasy points versus the St. Louis Cardinals, a legit team. So that's impressive. The home game prior to that, August 23rd versus the Texas Rangers, 45 fantasy points. And then the home game before that against the Miami Marlins on August 18th, 45 fantasy points. So his last 3 home games, he surpassed the 40-point mark as far as fantasy points, which is a trend that's I think he can continue tonight. He's facing the Milwaukee Brewers. They're one of the top strikeout teams in the major leagues. It's a National League game, so the pitcher would have to come up to bat. That helps. And, when I looked at the BVP statistics, Ryan Braun was the only one who has some legit success against him. Ryan Braun was 3 for 7 with 1 career home run. Chris Carter also has a career home run against him, but I believe in 13 at-bats, he's only batting .231. As I was further doing my research, Dan Straley, his splits are also favorable tonight. His home versus his road splits. At home, he has an ERA of, I believe, 2.85. On the road, his ERA is 4.99. And he has the equal sample size of home games and road games played. 15 home games and 15 road games. Also, home game versus road game splits. On the road, opponents are batting .247 versus him. At home, opponents are batting .202. Now, Great American Ballpark is a hitter's park, so that's where the risk lies. But, in tournaments, you have to take some type of risk. And I feel that Dan Straley is a risk worth taking tonight when I consider, his last three home games, the team he's playing, a National League ballpark, in his home versus road splits. So for tournaments and GPPs, not necessarily for cash, but for tournaments and GPPs, I definitely think Dan Straley is someone who can easily go overlooked. He'll be low owned, and I think hopefully he can continue the trend and have a fourth straight game of 40 or more fantasy points at home in Cincinnati. So that's my take on Dan Straley. I'll just briefly talk about some of the other pitchers. I really like Matt Whistler also. Sorry, just doing something. Yeah, I like Matt Whistler, like I mentioned earlier, as my second favorite play for tournaments and GPPs. Again, mainly a salary decision, but if you look at his game log, his last 2 games that he started, 57 fantasy points on August 31st. I was at that game, and against the Padres, he pitched great. In the game before that, at Arizona on August 25th, he had 45 fantasy points. And Arizona is a hitter's park. So definitely, it seems like he's trending in the right direction. Those 2 starts by Whistler, those were 2 starts after he spent some time in the minor leagues. So it seemed like the minor league stint really helped him. And it seems like he's poised to, finish off this season, strong. So I definitely like Whistler. The Marlins, National League team. Again, you get the pitcher up to bat. Turner Field is not a very good hitter's park. So I like Matt Whistler. The Braves, they've been playing good. I was at the game last night. They scored 12 runs. And then another thing, Miami, they have a rookie pitcher pitching tonight. A rookie pitcher on the road. So the win security could be there also. The thing that kind of scares me about this is a couple of the bats in the Miami lineup, mainly Christian Yelich. Being a lefty, I believe he's like maybe 6 for 8 or 7 for 8 versus Matt Whistler. So that kind of scares me. Justin Bohr, he scares me too. I was at the game yesterday. They said he's 6'4", or 6'5", and 279 pounds. A big left-handed hitter with a lot of power. So he scares me. And also, Whistler, he faced the Marlins on July 3rd at Turner Field, and he gave up 10 hits and only 6 innings pitched. And then you got D. Gordon. He's also a left-handed bat. So a few of the bats kind of scare me on Miami. But I think Whistler would be a good tournament play if he continues trending in a positive direction like he has since he's been called back up from the minors. So, again, for me, it was between Matt Whistler and Dan Straley. And both of them are risky, but I feel that Dan Straley is a little more safe. But Whistler could very well have a good game also. And a couple other pitchers that I want to mention. I'll talk about the top one on the board, Noah Syndergaard. 10,900. Of course, he's a great pitcher. But I respect the Washington Nationals offense. And I believe the wind is supposed to be blowing out slightly to left field. I definitely respect Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, Trey Turner. The game is in Washington, so he's on the road. What else about this game? The Mets, I'm not that confident in the win security. I'm not saying that Noah Syndergaard won't have a good game, but 10,900, that's a lot to pay on a full slate where there's a lot of offense available. So for me, it's going to be an easy fade for me. But I definitely understand why you would consider him. But if you choose him, you just have to know how to manage the rest of your lineup, basically. Daniel Duffy, I'm not interested in. Like I said, I've been out the loop. Let me look. Well, his last game, he had 42 fantasy points, but Oakland, I believe they scored 16 runs last night, so they might be getting kind of hot, and I feel it's kind of risky. And just kind of looking through the player pool. Pomeranz is interesting for Boston Red Sox. He's an interesting play. It's just that they say the weather is supposed to be, the wind's supposed to be blowing out to left field or left center tonight. And, Baltimore is a team that hits a lot of home runs. So Pomeranz, he's inconsistent. So I'm not about to spend, 9,100 on him tonight. He could have a good game, but I'd rather take the chance with the salary savings with Straley. And again, it's a full slate, so I'm not going to go through everyone. That's pretty much my take on pitcher. And with Straley being my favorite and Matt Whistler being my second favorite, it's risky, but I think it's a great play for tournaments and GPPs. Now, for my lineup, I stacked one team and then I got a few other plays. And the team that I like as a stack tonight, it may be kind of chalky, but I really do like the Boston Red Sox. So for the Red Sox stack, for this lineup, how I have it now, I got Mookie Betts, $4,100. He's 3 for 5 versus Bundy with one career home run. And with the weather, with the wind supposed to blow out to left center or left field, and Mookie Betts being a right-handed batter, he's an MVP candidate for this season. We know he's a great player, can hit 2 or 3 home runs on any given night. So for 4,100, I like Mookie Betts to start off a Red Sox stack. And then to continue a Red Sox stack, I like Xander Bogaerts for 3,600. Again, one of the top shortstops in the league. I mainly like this game because of how the weather is supposed to be. And then they scored 12 runs on last night. So maybe they could be trending in the right direction. So again, Xander Bogaerts at shortstop for 3,600. This was a tough decision. At first base, it's always tough for me between David Ortiz and Hanley Ramirez. I never know who to pick, but for tonight, I think I'm gonna go with Hanley Ramirez for 3,500. You get the little savings from Ortiz. You save $600. I was looking at Ortiz's game log within the last few weeks. He has a few games where he homers in back-to-back games, but I didn't see anywhere he homered in 3 straight. And right now, he's homered in back-to-back games, so I'm hoping that pattern shows that, he fails the homer tonight. Now, Hanley Ramirez, if you look at his game log, he's homered in back-to-back games, but his success isn't strictly based on the home runs. He also can get extra base hits, like your doubles, and, he walks and things like that. He can also maybe get a stolen base in there. So even if he doesn't homer, he does have the potential to possibly get double-digit fantasy points. So and then being the fact that he's a right-handed hitter with the weather in the ballpark at Fenway, I think I'm gonna go with Hanley Ramirez instead of David Ortiz as the third part of this Boston Red Sox stack. And then the last part of it, I put Sandy Leon in there for 2,800. A switch hitter. He has good success versus Bundy. I mean, very, very small sample size, but he's 2 for 3 with one career home run. So I definitely like Sandy Leon. His price at 2,800. I think it's a great price, to fill out the Red Sox stack. So again, that's how I kind of start my lineup up. Start out my lineup for now, and to fill in. I love the BVP plays. So at third base, I like Josh Donaldson. I love him, for 4,100. Let me read his BVP statistics. Sorry, okay. Yeah, he's batting .474 with 3 career home runs versus Drew Smyly. Drew Smyly's the left-handed pitcher. Rogers Center in Toronto is a small ballpark. Lefty versus righty matchup, small ballpark, favorable BVP statistics. Josh Donaldson had the night off on last night, so I think all things point to him having a strong performance tonight. So I stuck him in at third base. Another great BVP play for tonight is Mike Trout in the outfield. He owns Walker. Let me find that. In 9 at-bats, he's batting .818 with 3 career home runs versus the pitcher for the Mariners. I believe it's Walker. So I stuck him in as a one-off. And then another player I got in here as a one-off for 2,600, Yasmani Tomas for the Arizona Diamondbacks. On last night, he had 51.1 fantasy points. His career versus the pitcher for Colorado, De La Rosa, he's 6 for 12, batting .500 with 1 career home run. Chase Field in Arizona is known to be a hitter's park. Tomas, he's one of those players that can get streaky at times. I think he got on a real hot streak like in maybe July or August. I can't remember exactly. But a lefty versus righty matchup, everything points to, in my opinion, points to him having a great game as well. And at a very low price of $2,600, he's someone that I think fits well into my lineup. And my second base, it was just the salary I have left over. I do have Travis for the Toronto Blue Jays. His BVP statistics versus Smiley, he's 2 for 5 with 1 career home run. Small sample size, but the ballpark, lefty versus righty matchup, maybe he gets have a good game on tonight. So that's kind of how I have my lineup for now. I'm definitely going to just kind of briefly go through each position, point out some other plays. So at catcher, a great play tonight, I think, is Castro for the Houston Astros. He's batting .313 with 3 career home runs versus, I believe the pitcher is Griffin for the Texas Rangers. Lefty versus righty matchup, and his salary is $2,800. So Castro for the Houston Astros, I think he's a great play. Buster Posey, great BVP statistics. He's batting .353 with 1 career home run versus Richard, the pitcher for San Diego. I think Evan Gattis is in play because the game is at Minute Maid Park and his price is low at $2,800. So he's definitely in play. It's a full slate, so I'm not going to go through everybody. Those are the main people I see at catcher. At first base, I already talked about Ortiz. Definitely, I think a Blue Jays stack is viable. So E5 or Edwin Encarnacion for $4,100. Lefty versus righty matchup in a good ballpark. And we all know about his home run power. Freddie Freeman, I think, is a great play. Good price, $3,400. His birthday was yesterday. He almost hit a home run. But Christian Yelich made a great catch in center field. I was at the game working. But Freddie Freeman at home, he's on like an 18-game hitting streak. Longest hitting streak in the majors for anybody currently right now. So Freddie Freeman at $3,400. I think he's a great play. Votto has good BVP statistics versus Garza. And, again, full slate, so I don't want to go through everyone. Those the main people that I see at first base. Moving on to the next position, the second base, definitely consider Brian Dozier. He has 1 career home run versus Boyd. Lefty versus righty matchup. And we know how hot Brian Dozier can get. Jose Altuve, good BVP statistics versus Griffin. Batting .333 with 1 career home run. Good ballpark at Minute Maid Park. Ian Kinsler versus, I believe it's Gibson for the Twins. Great BVP statistics versus him. Can look at him. And, yeah, those are the main guys I see at second base. Moving on to the next position, third base. Definitely Arenado, lefty versus righty matchup at Chase Field. He has 1 career home run versus Robbie Ray. So definitely Arenado. Chris Bryant, he's in a lefty versus righty matchup versus Jaime Garcia. Can consider him. When it's a full slate, there are just so many options. There's a lot of good options tonight. Kind of just looking through. Yeah, I'm really big on Donaldson, so I'm most likely gonna stick with him in my lineup. Shortstop. I was thinking about Brad Miller because he's one of my favorite players to pick at the shortstop position, and his price is low at $3,000. It's a lefty versus righty matchup, but I believe he's like 2 for 13 versus Marcus Stroman. So that kind of pushed me away from him. If you're considering a Blue Jays stack, definitely Troy Tulowitzki at a nice price of $3,000. Corey Seager of the Dodgers, left-handed hitter at Yankee Stadium. Great ballpark for left-handers to hit home runs. The only thing is he's facing CC Sabathia, who's a left-hander. So I'm not sure how that lefty matchup will work for him. And then he's at a high price of 4,100, so he could be risky. But again, I like Bogarts. Not gonna go through everyone, but those are like the players that I feel are worth mentioning. And then the last position, the outfield position. I like Mark Trumbo tonight for 3,300, going up against Drew Pomeranz. I think Trumbo. He's one of the leaders in home runs in the majors. He's just kind of inconsistent, but he's streaky. He got a low price, and facing Pomeranz, where the wind is supposed to be blowing out at Fenway, and Pomeranz is a left-handed pitcher also. Trumbo, he could be a great one-off play. If you really don't want to stack the Orioles or anything like that. I really like Trumbo, but I just couldn't afford him how I have my lineup set up right now. Yasmani Tomas at 2,600. That kind of worked out better for me. But I think Mark Trumbo is in a great spot. Like I mentioned earlier, Ryan Bryan for 4,100. I hope he don't do nothing tonight because I like Dan Straley. But if you don't have Straley, Ryan Bryan, he has good career statistics versus Straley. JD Martinez, great BVP stats versus Gibson. Where is it? 409 with 2 career home runs. Like I said, Christian Yelich, I believe he like 7 for 8 versus Matt Whistler. Lefty versus righty matchup also. So again, it's 15 games, so it'll be too long to just go through all of the outfielders. That's about what I see at outfield as players that I feel worth mentioning. And lastly, I just want to talk about certain games that I feel you should pay attention to. Definitely the Boston and Baltimore game. I think possibly a lot of runs can be scored in that game. Let me look on this list. Yeah, Boston and Baltimore. I think Houston and the Texas Rangers definitely have the potential for a lot of runs to be scored. Colorado and Arizona, definitely. A lot of good plays in that game, playing at that ballpark. And I think those are the 3 top games. I mean, I don't keep up with the Vegas odds, the over and unders, but just from like kind of knowing a little something about baseball, I think Baltimore at Boston is a good game to look at. Definitely Colorado at Arizona and Texas at Houston. I think those are 3 games to look for, like your stacks, if you will, or certain players who can get a lot of fantasy points. So just to recap, how I have my lineup is currently 257 where I'm at here in Decatur, Georgia. But I like Dan Straley for tournaments and GPPs. Kind of risky. I also like Matt Whistler. And as for my lineup, it's kind of chalky, but I like the Boston Red Sox as a stack. And, my favorite one-off plays are Josh Donaldson, Mike Trout, and Yasmani Tomas. So that's what I feel about my lineup tonight. Baseball, it definitely is difficult, especially when you're putting together one lineup. You really have to be on point. But I'm hoping that this one lineup I have tonight is able to translate into some success. Translate into some success. That was a tongue twister for me. But again, that's about it for my lineup strategy for tournaments and GPPs tonight. As always, just want to thank everyone out there. Thank you to everyone who's taking the time out to view this video today. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed to the YouTube channel, joining the Facebook group, following on Twitter, and following on Instagram. Just search the hashtag #BeTheBestDFS to join this thing that I'm starting up in this DFS industry. I'm definitely going to come out with another football video probably on Thursday. I struggled. I had some, my lineups didn't perform as well as I would have liked them to, but, I'm going to move on from that and try to do better week 2. Again, it's Tuesday. Today, it's only about baseball. And, I'm confident and hopeful that my lineup is able to do well. And thanks again for everyone for all your support. Definitely the subscribers. We up to like 87, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as always, good luck tonight. I hope y'all are able to win some money, and hopefully I'm able to win some money and be profitable as well tonight. And just make sure you get your lineups right, and try to be the best tonight. All right, I'm out.